Hi, this is Rich. I am working with my brother Dave. We're flipping a very large lake house, and this house is about 35 years old, and so all of these outlets are 35 years old. So basically what we're wanting to do is replace all of them because you can see it's all just kind of tarnished and does not look very up to date. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn the power off at the electric panel. On your breaker panel, you have to know which circuit you need to turn off, and I happen to know that it's number 11 on this panel. So this is in the on position, and I'm just flipping it to the off position. This one is a 20 amp circuit because it has the 20 written right on it. You can also see that there are some that are 15, and the larger appliances are even bigger than that. All right, now we've turned off that particular circuit, but we want to make sure that that is the correct one because we don't want to get a shock when we go into this box. So this is a volt tester. It's made by a company called Fluke, and it's going to allow us to make sure that we turned off the correct circuit. So all we have to do is, on this particular outlet, it's got a long slot and a short slot. We stick it into the short slot, and it's okay if it just flashes like that, but if it was glowing red, it would mean that the circuit is still on. And I'll show you what it would be like if the circuit was still on. It'd be like this one here, and you can see it makes the warning sound and glows red. So we know that that circuit's on, but we can now be confident that we have turned off the correct circuit over here. Take the plate off. Okay, and then now we need to get a Phillips screwdriver. So it just has two retaining screws that we need to take off. Okay. Now on this particular outlet, it has 3 wires attached to it. This black wire is the hot wire carrying the electrical charge. This white wire is a neutral. And then this copper one is a ground wire. So really what we're going to do on our new outlet is we're going to replace them in the exact same order on the new outlet that is on this old outlet. All right, well the hot wire is always going to go to the brass screw. And then on the other side, the neutral wire is always going to go to the silver screw. And then third is this ground wire. This other screw is normally green, so that's where that one goes. First we're going to disconnect the hot wire, which is the black wire on the brass screw. And then we're going to take off the neutral wire, which is the white wire on the silver screw. Now we're disconnecting the ground wire. Okay, so we've removed the old outlet. This is the new outlet. It's 20 amp, and it has, I don't know if you can see it there, but it's got the letter TR. It stands for tamper resistant. This is part of the new electrical code. It's got like these little plastic pieces right inside there that would prevent a child from putting a piece of metal or their fingernail or something into that. So it also makes it harder to put plugs into the outlets now. Now basically we're going to hook this back up in the same way that we just took the other one off. So you can see the difference in the color of the screws. You could honestly put this outlet back on this way, or you could put it on that way. We like to say you make a little face. So this would be like an eye, and a mouth. And so that we're consistently putting our outlets in a house the same way, so that they're not all turned different ways. So what we have to do now is get all the wires back onto the correct screws. So the black wire goes to this brass screw. It basically just goes around the screw. You're just trying to make good contact with it. And then you just tighten it back up. Make sure it's good and tight. You can wiggle it to make sure it's not going to fall off of there. Then on the other side, we're going to put the neutral wire onto the silver screw. And it doesn't really matter if it's this top one or this bottom one. Same thing on the other side. Either one will work. Alright, so that's on there and that's good and tight. And then the third one we've got to do is we've got to get this ground wire onto this green screw at the bottom. And as you can see, the more wires you reattach, the harder it gets to manipulate everything. But you can do it. If these wires were longer, I would go ahead and I would trim those off, so it would be so easy for me to then just bend it around the screw. But because these wires are so short, I'm trying to use the exact same length of wire and just put it back into this, back onto this screw. Okay, I finally got it in position, and now using my pliers, I've got to wrap this around the screw. And we did it. Hooray. Okay, so just got to tighten that guy up. These wires go clockwise around the screws, just to be consistent. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, we've got that all connected. We need to reinstall this back into the wall. There's just the two retaining screws, one on the top and one on the bottom. If it doesn't look like it's perfectly vertical, you can undo the screw and move it around as you need to. And since we have a new outlet, we have a brand new outlet cover that we're going to put on here. And that just uses one screw right in the middle. We'll put that on nice and tight so it's not wobbly. There, and that looks a lot better than it used to. So now what we're going to do is go and we'll turn the power back on and see how we did. Okay, so on our panel it was number 11, and you can see all these other ones are on. It even says on and off on the panel. So we know that this one's off, and we just put it back on. So now we have power on and we can use our tester. Oh, then it says we have power to this. We also have this other gadget. This is pretty neat. You can get this at any of your hardware stores. And it will also tell you if your outlet is good or bad, and it even has a diagnostic right here. So like if you hook something up incorrectly, it might just tell you right there exactly what it is. Okay, so if we read this diagram, I've got no light, yellow, yellow, and right there, that's the bottom one that says correct. So that means this one's good. So that basically is how to replace an outlet. And thank you for viewing. Please subscribe, and good luck with your projects. Okay, so first we're going to disconnect the hot wire, which is the black wire on the brass pin. And these guys, normally the electrician will leave you a little bit of extra wire so it's not so difficult to work with, but I'm laughing because I seriously just replaced 10 outlets. I did them in seconds and there was no issue.